And wonderful news from the US, with the first shipment of COVID-19 vaccine rolling out of the Pfizer plant in Michigan. President Donald Trump did say throughout the election campaign that we'd have a vaccine by the end of the year. But not too many believed him. The US media even ran fact checks disputing the president's claims. But here we are, and the first shipment has already arrived at hospitals and healthcare departments across America. Meanwhile, the president had a fine time yesterday at the Army-Navy game, where he was very much among friends. Also in America, we are seeing millions of businesses and jobs impacted by lockdown orders. And according to billionaire Bill Gates, that is entirely appropriate. We had no Bill Gates for you there. We brought you more Trump because we thought you'd like him. You know, we don't have him for much longer. But Bill Gates said it's not only appropriate that these businesses be shut, but he went on to also say that even with the vaccine, life will not return to normal through 2022. And that's easy for a billionaire to say, not so easy for those not on full salaries or who don't have the luxury to be able to work from home. It's not easy for those who've lost their jobs and will soon lose their homes and the ability to take care of their family. Also in the US, we are having all sorts of mask madness. A young family kicked off a United flight because their toddler refused to keep her mask on. Have a look at this.
We just got kicked off the flight because our 2-year-old would not put on a mask, and we tried. I mean, I'm going to put a video on. And they're sending all of our bags and Adeline's car seat to New York. And we're banned off of United forever because a 2-year-old would not put on a mask.
Mas não sair dessa também, ok? Kaya Musa ta ba ni? Ano ay Musa? Musa ta ba ni? Okay. Okay. Ako yung manasita.
That went on for some time until the family was ordered off the plane for non-compliance.
So I'm going to have to ask you to grab the belongings and catch the aircraft. We've got to be getting away from this. Why? We're over here holding this mask on her face. I'm sorry, sir. I gave you another opportunity. And I took that opportunity and I ran with it. You see this? I'm literally covering her face. I've got to ask you to get off.
Well,
now, never mind the fact that a 2-year-old should not be forced to wear a mask, or the fact that children of that age do not acquire and pass on the virus to the same extent that adults do. They're not super spreaders. But it is almost impossible to mask a toddler unless you're going to restrain them. And let me assure you, every person on that flight would have removed their mask to have a drink or a snack, which is allowed and considered safe, but an unmasked 2-year-old is a danger to others. Crazy stuff. Closer to home, the Herald Sun reports that peak business groups and the aged care sector have expressed support for compulsory COVID vaccines for workers. But do employers have the right to demand that their staff be vaccinated to earn a paycheck? For some industries, such as aged care, the vaccine should be compulsory. After all, that workforce already has a mandatory flu vaccine program in place, and they work in a sector where the risk of serious complications and death from COVID-19 are significant. But Australia should not be forcing healthy individuals not working in high-risk areas to be immunised against their will. That is simply a step too far. No one working in a shop, school or office should be sacked because they don't want the COVID jab. Scott Morrison got himself into all sorts of bother when he said the COVID-19 vaccine would be as mandatory as you can possibly make it. He had said there are always exemptions for any vaccine on medical grounds, but that should be the only basis. That was back in August, and it caused all sorts of alarm bells to ring, and it didn't take long for the Prime Minister to do a backflip. And he assured Australians back then that no one would be vaccinated against their will. And we must never forget that we have allowed our rights and civil liberties to be annihilated due to a virus that has a high survival rate. But that said, the development of an effective coronavirus vaccine in less than a year is one of man's greatest modern achievements. Anything that will allow Australia to open our borders and rejoin the rest of the world should be embraced, as long as it's safe.